16th. So I gave 3 examples in the previous verse. Mrilloha, Vispulingadyehi, Srishtirya, Chodidanyada. They have given, just as the gold has become so many ornaments, just as the mud, the clay have become so many varieties of pots. Any pot which is made anywhere in the world is nothing but mud. Mrideva Satyam. Chandogya Upanishad says, Mrideva Satyam. Not the Satyam, it is only relative reality. Mridis, now don't say mud is the Satyam. Foolish people will think like that. Mrideva Satyam it is. I have got pramanam also. That is not the way to understand. The immediate cause of the pot is mud. So long, what is all pervading in all the pots in the world is nothing but mud. But the ultimate reality is the Brahman, which has become the Panchamahabhutas, is it not? Which has manifested as the Panchamahabhutas, etc., in the Srishti Prakaranam. But Srishti Prakaranam also is not that Bhagavan has created something. It is only Bhagavan has manifested. There is no creation. There is only manifestation. So Brahman itself has become the Panchamahabhutas. Now what is, if you understand this, even the Dvaitavadis are saying Srishti has started with Brahman becoming so many things. So now I am seeing the world of BMIOET. What is it? It is nothing but the Panchamahabhuta Bhaudika Prapancham. Is it not? So what is Bhaudika Prapancham? If Brahman has manifested as the whole Pancha Mahabhutas, and this is the Bhaudika Prapancham, so Bhaudika Prapancham is what? Brahman alone. It doesn't require any argument for this. Cause in another form is effect. If at all it is the cause, even if you say it is the cause and we are accepting it, even then cause in another form is the effect. Gold in another form is the ornament. Have you understood? So he says here, there is no Dvaidam. And if you are seeing Dvaidam, it is only because of Maya. That is being emphasized in the next 3 verses, 17, 18, 19. But in the 16th verse he says, Sovataraya, which a beautiful word has been, so avataraya, just to drive home the point. Avataram that does not mean that come down or anything. So avataraya, avataripika, presenting it, bringing it to your notice, is what is said there. Ashramas trividahinam madhyamot utkrishta drishtayaham Upasanopadišteyam tadarthamanukampaya. The Purvapakshi is not satisfied. So he says, but then why there is a karma kanda? Why you are asked to do so many karmas and so many upasanas? If only one Brahman is there, where is the need for karma? Where is the need for upasana? And if you are saying it, Veda Pramana is like that, this is also Veda Pramana. Karma Danda also is Veda Pramana. How can you say? That is what he says. He is answering such a, Purvapakshi. Darshana Buddhi Taradamyat Ashramas Trivida. On the basis of the different degrees of intellectual capabilities, Darshana Buddhi Taradamyat. Darshana is different for each person. One person doesn't see what the other person. One person doesn't understand what the other person understands very subtly. Some is a gross. The other see something beyond the gross objects of the world. You know, you have got the Sukshma Buddhi, you look at a tree and see the life force in it. But an ordinary man and a woodcutter, what does he see? So many tons of wood, that's all he will see. But as your intellectual abilities go higher and higher, you can see so many things. The beauty of it, the painter paints it, the artist looks at it differently, the woodcutter looks at it differently, the businessman looks at it differently. Nice place for a resort. Some of these trees I will cut, but there will be a beautiful resort. He is already planning a whole resort there. So each one sees according to their darshana, buddhi, taradamya. Because of the difference in that darshana buddhi, in that seeing itself there is difference, and hence ashrama, trivida, on these different degrees of intellectual capabilities. And what are the different? Lower, middle and higher. Utkrishtam, higher. Another way, Uttama Adhigari, Manda, Madhyama Adhigaris. According to the Drishtitaradamyam, he says, Ashrama Trivida. 3 ashramas are there on the basis of lower the Uttama Adhigari, Manda Adhigari, Madhyama Adhigari. We say Sattva, Rajas, Tamo, Guna. Is it not? According to the understanding. Or the gunas in you. 3. It can be divided into 3. Or you can divide it as the adhigaris are in 3 different ashramas. Sannyasa ashrama or grastha ashrama, vanaprastha ashrama. Like that it can be divided into 3. Brahmacharya ashrama probably left. That is only study time. Now the understanding is, some people understood it at a lower level. Some people understood it at, even the students understand it at a little manda buddhigal. When we talk in Malayalam, we say, hey, manda buddhi. Suppose you're a dense fellow, then they will call each other manda buddhi. Dense in the head. The middle and the higher life itself can be divided into 3 stages out of, and what do? All are potentially sattvic, but some are rajasic and tamasic. Why then upasana and rituals and all that? There is a chant of Vishnu Sahasranamam. How many times the Lord is praised as non-dual Brahman in that? Next time you chant, you count. How many times? That escapes their understanding. It is very beautiful that way, because he is both Saguna and Nirguna. When he is reflected in the objects of the world, he is Saguna. When he is not at all having any type of reflection by as it is Nirguna. Yes, of course, Bhupada and the Virat, Upasana, everything is. That is why we keep on asking people, chant Vishnu Sahasranam. Before I come here, I chant my Vishnu Sahasranam. In the morning, I put the tape and listen and meditate on that. That is why you know every stuti. Because we don't know Sanskrit, that fact has escaped us. Nityanandagari. When we say, what are we talking? Nitya Ananda Mananda Swarupini Devi. Nyadritneya, something in Lalita Sahasranamam, you know. Nyadritneya. that one verse is there. That Tribhuti is the Tribhuti is Devi herself is the Jnatra, Devi herself is the Jnada, Devi herself is the Jnanam. Jnadritneya Jnanam. Ade. Jnadritneya Jnana Surupini. Yeah. We don't know we just like parrots, we are going on repeating. That is the fall of Hinduism. That is why we have fallen so low. We don't know our own scriptures. Every others, they are all the people of the books, they call themselves. Who? The Christians, the Muslims and all. So that means we don't have a book. We have the best of all books. Okay. Ashramas Trivida Hina Madhyamotkrishta Drishtayaha. Though I love to talk with you, not that I don't. Upasano vadishteyam tadartham anukampaya. Then why did the scripture give out of anukampaya? What a beautiful word is used. Out of compassion for all these lower level hina madhyama adhikaris. Shruti is called a mother. Shruti Mata. We call Shruti as mother because she has got the mother's compassion towards those who cannot reach up to the higher understanding, and she helps them. Tadartham anukampaya. Upasana upadishteyam. Upasana and karma are advised by Shruti because of anukampa for those hina madhyama adhikaris. Not, if it is said, it is not necessarily the reality. It is talking at the level of the student who is at the lower level. Yesterday I talked to you about it, how we tell the children in their language whatever they want to know, not in our language, then they won't understand. Similarly here, Gaudapada is talking from the highest level, but there are people who will not understand and who are at the lower level. So for their understanding, the Shruti itself allows Anuvadam is given for those type of people by saying you do upasana, you do some karmas, and they feel very happy because their understanding is only that much. Even about our Tapovan Maharaj, it is said, when the great scholars or the seers or great sannyasis come to his ashram, he will enter into a glorious dissertation with them, argue with them and make them understand the subtle insights that are there in the scriptures. But when an old woman panting, she is so tired, she has come all the way to Uttarakashi, and then naturally these old people and all will go to see the Mahatmas there, and he was a great Mahatma, and she will go to his kudiya and ask for Upadesham. What Upadesham is? He will say, Amma, chant the Ishtamantra. You understand? You cannot say you will go home and read Mandukya. You understand? Mandukya is like a Hebrew and Latin for her. Taradamyam is there at various levels of the students. That is what here points out. Upasana upadishtayam tadartham anukampaya. All are potentially sattvic, but very few know it. Potentially you are one only. Oneness only is there, but very few know it because of their drishti taradamyam. Having said that, in the vyavaharika drishti, every philosopher is right from his own angle. If you are talking from the vyavaharika standpoint, everybody is right. Dvaidin is also right. From his standpoint, he is right. Just as the dreamer is, for him his dream world is Satyam. For the Dvaidin, his Dvaida understanding is Satyam. Have you understood? But there are layers and layers we have to travel to reach the highest truth. So, in dream, I see light though I am in a dark room. Similarly, because they can coexist because they belong to different realms. How do we see light in the darkness? In the dream. In the dream, I am in darkness. But I see, the dream may give you some picture of darkness also. Light also. Similarly, in this world, there are people who are Dvaidins, there are people who are Advaidins. But the Advaita says, we have no quarrel with them. They have quarrel with us, but we have no quarrel. Which is that the 17th, 18th and 19th verses are very important verses. And it's Dvaita versus Advaita. What is 17, 18, 19? Dvaita versus Advaita is taken up, and a big commentary is written by Bhashyakara also. We will see. In Advaita, the sum total of all points, in other words, we have always said Vishishta Advaita is a point of view, Advaita is a point of view. I myself have told you so many times. But here teacher says it's not a point of view. Advaita is not a point of view. Dvaita is a point of view. Vishishta Advaita is a point of view. Shuddha Advaita is a point of view. But Advaita is not a point of view. Advaita is a fact. How beautiful it is. Advaita is the truth. So it is not a point of view of anybody. All other things are a point of view of Advaita. They are seeing Advaita as Dvaita. Oh, it is not a point of view of anything. We will see in the 17th verse. So Siddhanta Vyavastaso Dvaidino Nishchita Dridham Parasparam Virudhyante Tairayam na virudhyate. So Siddhanta Vyavastasu, in their own, stand. So Siddhanta means one's own stand, point of view. In their point of view, Dvaidino Nishchidadridham, they are very sure about their standpoint. They say we are right. And there is no thing called Advaita. They always quarrel with whatever the Siddhanti says, they have got a Purvabakshi. Among them there will be always Purvabakshis because they cling fast to the conclusions arrived at by their own misunderstandings. We cannot say understanding. By their own misunderstandings, what conclusions they have, but the bottom line they have arrived at, they hold on to it like a markada mushti. Like the monkeys hold on to a thing which they get without leaving it. Once you don't have an open mind, even in ordinary vadas, you don't have an open mind, you are not ready for changing your stand. Is it not? In our own life, we see that often. We never will do. Because it is my firm conviction. Manisha mama. What is your Manisha? Dvaita. This thing that I see, this Dvaita Prapancham is real. And there is nothing other than this which I can call real. There is nothing I can see or hear or touch or smell which is other than this Dvaita Prapancham. So Dvaita Prapancham is the reality. And they say, dream is unreal, if you want to know. And they never talk about the absolute reality, the Brahman. Or even if you talk about, they have got lot of misconceptions. We have seen, a group of people who think that Ajada Brahma has become Jada. Now I am the Jada Brahma. That type of, and they hold on to it and they argue about it. And Kutarkam. There will be. That is why in the Sadhana Panchakam it is said, you must always get into arguments which are Shruti Paksham, which is emphasizing the stand of the Shruti. Don't get into Vitandavadam, which are opposed to the Shruti stand. The Dvaidins are Sosiddhante, Sosiddhanta Vyavastasu Dvaidino Nischitadridham Parasparam Virudhyante Tairayam Na Virudyate. And what is the beauty is, these Dvaidins do not have like our opposition parties. They are supposed to be opposition party, but there is no they themselves fight among themselves, contradict each other. The BJP will say something, the Janata Dal will say something, that this is. So much so, there is no strong opposition. What happens in a democracy when there is no strong opposition is, democracy will fail. A opposition is required to keep the government in check and balance. And there is no opposition. Among them only, they are all the time fighting, throwing chappals and whatever in the... Is it not? So here he says, Sosiddhanta Vyavastasu Dvaidino Nischitadridham. And the Nayayiga and Vaisheshigas, they have their own stand. And they hold on to it viciously. And the Sankhyans have their own stand. And they will fight them between themselves. Your stand is wrong. And Advaita says, I am with all of you. I have no opposition. Advaitins, Gurudev says, like a butter knife only is the arguments which Gaudapada Gaudapada advances in defeating the Dvaidins. He does not fight with them, but slowly he says, look at yourself, how you are fighting among yourselves. That shows that is not correct. Nischidadridam parasparam virudhyande. They are always fanatic about their own stand. Fanatic people. Virudhyande tairayam na virudyade. So among themselves they contradict each other, whereas I am the Advaitins. I am these people. We have no conflict with them. Their theories create, in other words, ragadveshas in the mind of the people. Once you hold on to a view, you have ragadvesha. Is it not? Even they have divided, the Bhaktas also have become divided. As what? As Vaishnavites, Shaivites and whatnot and whatnot. So they fight among themselves. I was surprised once Vaishnavite came with us to the Payur temple. And I mean, we had some distinguished guests we took to the Payur temple. And he had gone in, but this man who was a Vaishnavite and staunch Vaishnavite, not ordinary Vaishnavite. And he said, you all go and come, I will stand here. Where? Outside the temple. Can you imagine that? That is what he said, that they are there in these days and he is in the education department. What? I can't understand. Whereas, are you coming to Ayyappa temple? Yes. Why not? Ayyappa also is Paramatma. Are you coming to Vishnu temple? Why not? Vishnu is Sri Krishna Paramatmane Namaha. Are you coming to Shiva temple? Shiva is always meditator. I have no opposition with anyone. A Vedantin has no opposition with any form of God. It is said about Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, for 1 month he will be Muslim. For 1 month, to understand their way of life and their beliefs. And 1 month he will practice Christianity. And he came to the conclusion. This is not merely said, Advaita believes in only oneness. They are also worshipping the same Lord by a different name. Then why are we being fanatic? This tolerance, which is the gift of Advaita, is the greatest need of the hour in this modern world. Oneness is to be cultivated. See, in India also we keep on having these communal fights. What for? It is a established fact they will be here. The Muslims will be here, the Christians will be here. And so many of the Hindus will still be becoming Christians or Muslims, we don't know. We cannot throw them out. They are Indians first. So, since what cannot be cured, endure. Have compassion like the Shruti Mata. Have compassion for everybody's. We were like that always. But it is the British who came here and gave us so many nice things like the English language and that and this and the international status. But what they did was, like every enemy exploits your weakness, they have exploited our weakness and made us intolerant. A people basically tolerant from time immemorial. They have made us intolerant of each other. And that seed, they put in our country, in the hearts of our people, and they left the country. And if you are wise enough, you should have known that it is the divide and rule policy of the British. Because from the Vedantic standpoint, every type of worship is valid. How is it more valid if you are worshipping Krishna than you are worshipping Jesus? Not more valid. Both are Dvaidis. You understand? All are Dvaidis only. This is something which you have to think very deeply. And he says, Parasparam Viruddha, they always fanatic. All points of view belong to Dvaidam. Tribhuti is there. All Dvaita thoughts rise up in Advaita Satta. But where from are the thoughts rising? You should always remember from that non-dual Adhishtanam, the Satta, the existence principle, which is the Advaita principle. From that alone, all thoughts are rising. The other day I have done the definition of what is a thought. A thought is consciousness plus object. You understand? Any thought. Suppose there is a thought of a flower. The flower thought is nothing but the object, the flower, the picture of that flower in your mind is illumined by your consciousness. Without consciousness, there cannot be any knowledge, because it is the consciousness which makes you know this is a flower, this is a mango, this is a... When that consciousness is not there in your mind and intellect, you know nothing, is it not? In the deep sleep. So now, what is the way to know the truth? You have to go into deep meditation when there are no objects there. When I have transcended the mind and the intellect, and there is no thoughts rising, no new thought rising, or old thoughts have ended, that moment only you can have a vision of the truth, otherwise no. Otherwise, whatever we see is combined. Dvaita and Advaita, everything mixed. A mixture only you are seeing. It says here, that Tribhuti is there, all Dvaita thoughts rise up in that Advaita Satta. Hence Ramana Maharshi says, Hridaya Kuhara Madhye Kevalam Brahma Matram. And what is the first thought? I thought. The first, I. Why? What rises in that Brahman? Aham idi sakshat atmarupena bhadi. And how will I come back to it? That aham, which is Brahman only, and hence aham brahmasmi, aham brahmasmi. So, where from are the thoughts rising? From the consciousness. Please don't forget that at any time. All the thoughts that you have, the vritti jnanam that you have, is rising from your own consciousness. Behind your mind is consciousness. But because you are not able to transcend the mind, you are always in the thought world and say all that, think, and exhaust yourself. Which reminds me of that story I used to tell you always, that St. John of the Cross, a great Christian mystic, he was all the time struggling to have a vision of the Lord, because they are all Dvaitins. So they think that by constant prayer and by doing or penance, they call it penance. Penance, I will reach that higher state. And many years passed, and every day he will be crying and praying, when will I see you, O Lord? And one day he saw Jesus. Jesus came in front of him. Maybe a projection of the mind, we don't know. Isha darshanam, Atma darshanam only. So, he asked him, O Lord, why did you make me suffer so long to have a vision of you? Then it is said, Jesus told him in that vision that I was just behind your mind. You did not look properly. I was never far away from you. What makes you think I am far away? You should have gone a little deeper into your own mind. That is all. The whole purpose of meditation is that, to find the source of the mind. That source of the mind is this Advaita Satta, this non-dual Brahman. So where is Brahman now? Only as far as away is your mind. That is all. It is not far away. But why do I think far away? How far it is? How far are you from yourself? As far as your ignorance. How much is your ajnanam? That far. Let Vishnu be in Vaikuntham, Shiva be in his Kailas, far away. I can do what I want. And some fools think, what I think he won't know. He is very, very far. Sometimes we think like that, When they are very far, they won't see us. Bhagavan won't see us. Bhagavan won't hear. Even if the whisper of a thought, he will know. He means, he consciousness in you that it knows. Can you escape him? Never. Never. That story which says the teacher gave 2 plantains to 2 disciples, young children. And he was teaching them Vedanta and gave them 2 plantains and said, you go somewhere and eat it where there is nobody. So the first one came back immediately almost. He said, I went near the bushes and there was nobody and they ate. The second child never came back till the nightfall. And at nightfall, with the plantain, he came back. It has not eaten it. And he said, wherever I went, eyes were watching me. Which eyes? Mahatma is watching me. How can I eat? You are the one who understood what I taught. You understand? Like that. This thought itself is constant adoration of the Lord. Pratibodha vididam madam. Thought by thought, action by action. I know. Who knows? Consciousness? No. If you understand all this, the importance of this words, you will understand that aprameya swaprakashaha mano vajama gojara is Atman. That Atman, I am naviruddhyate. We have no objection. Whichever God you want, you worship. That is why in our Vedanta class, everybody is welcome. Anybody. There are some padris used to come to my class. For the, what is it? The Shvedashvedara Upanishad when I was taking, there was a father in my class. We had no objection. Why? A Vedantic study will make everybody a better Christian, a Muslim, a better Muslim, and a Hindu, a better Hindu. That is Vedanta. Vedanta is the religion of all religions. Our Hindu, the principles, what we do in the temple and all, everything becomes meaningful when you know Vedanta. And even, Paul Brendan, who was the great devotee of Ramana Maharshi and who was the discoverer of Ramana Maharshi to the world. He is the one who invented Ramana Maharshi for the whole world. And he writes in his book, when I went to India, I was a Christian, practicing Christian, but it didn't mean anything to me. I used to just go to the church, pray as usual and come. But after meeting Ramana Maharshi, and again I used to go to the church, but there was a difference in my understanding. In my attitude to the world, in my attitude to my religion, I have changed, I have transformed. And this transformation is the result of the study of Vedanta. Okay, having understood this, we will go to the contrasting the Dvaita Darshana with Advaita Darshana are these verses. Their theories create ragadveshas because they hold on to their views and quarrel with others and don't have the tolerance to see their viewpoint. In India at least they did not take to arms and fight. But in Western countries, the Protestants were killed mercilessly by the Catholics in those days because they hold a different view of God, which had never happened in India. See how much advanced Indian thought was. He never had that type of quarrels. We will only quarrel in the sadhas, Brahma sadhas. There they will quarrel. But not resorting to torture, not resorting to killing. All that had happened in Europe. If you read the history of the world, you will see it is atrocious. It is lined with human blood. So they don't teach, in many of the convents, they don't teach world history. And then they had to resort to Reformation. Renaissance and Reformation and all that. Okay. Hence he says here, the hallmark of Advaita is tolerance of all other views, whatever view you possess, but you yourself will understand this does not satisfy me in due course. If you have true Shraddha for a higher goal of life. Then you yourself, and you will become the Dvaita. Starts with Dvaita, ends up in Advaita. And you have heard, there are so many bhakti saints. What about you are saying only the Vedantin can realize. No, such thing. The Vedanta, when the Dvaiti becomes knowledgeable about the nature of the God, about the worship and everything, he advances in his path. He becomes, and when Jnanavan, Shraddhavan labhate Jnanam. Only Jnanam he achieves and he becomes. But the Dvaiti will say, when you have knowledge, you will become Bhakta, which is also true. But that Bhakti is Parabhakti, not for any particular God. God principle. That Bhakti is for God principle. It's very interesting, these verses, because it brings us to the contemporary world as such. 18th verse says, Advaitam paramartho hi Dvaitam tadbheda uchyate Tesham ubhayadadvaitam Tenayam na virudhyade. Advaitam paramartha. Advaitam alone is the reality, the truth. Non-duality is the ultimate reality, the ultimate truth. Dvaitam tad bheda uchyade. And duality, bhedam means it's different from that. Dvaidam is the opposite of it, we can say. What is Dvaidam? Dvaidam is the opposite. So, when these Dvaidins and Advaidins argue, Advaita philosopher says, Dvaidam is contained in Advaita, in the word. In the word Advaita, Dvaidam is there. Is it not? If you remove what is there? Dvaidam. But in Dvaidam there is no Advaidam. This is the truth. By arguing, they come to that, they become talapich. You just pull your hair when you are arguing and say, shut up. What? In Dvaidam, there is no Advaidam. In Advaidam, Advaidam contains Dvaidam. All Dvaita can be made into Advaita. Not difficult. Just add one A. That is all there is to it. But add one A, it will become Advaita. So, Tesham ubhayada dvaidam tenayam na virudhyade. Therefore, the dualists perceive duality both in the absolute and in the phenomena. What is the Vedam? Is it duality sees Vedam even in the Advaita Vastu, and they see Dvaidam in the world. Here and there, both. There is the Dvaidam, in other words, is the Karyam of Advaita. Karyam, Vedam, I wouldn't take it as Karyam, but it is given here, Gurudev gives it that duality is its effect. Dvaidam is the, in other words, without Dvaidam, without Advaidam, there is neither Dvaidam or Advaidam. There is no thought process at all. Dvaidam is there because of the Adhishtanam, which is Advaidam. In that Dvaita Advaita Adhishtanam only you are seeing the rise and fall of thoughts. All thoughts, Dvaita thoughts are possible only in the Advaita Adhishtanam. Is it not? So, in a way, we can say, like we can say that the rope is the karanam for the snake. Actually, rope has done nothing to create the snake for you. Rope was by itself. Similarly, Advaita is the karanam for the Dvaita Prapancham, because only in an Adhishtanam you can raise a whole building. A foundation should be there, no? But we have already proved it is Karyakarana Vilakshanam. And if it is Karyakarana Vilakshanam, it is not the Karana. Brahman is Karyakarana Vilakshanam. Then if it is not the Karana, then why do you say Karyam? Dvaidam is the Karyam. Then that Karyam, that which you see, is not really a Karyam, it is only a appearance. Vivarta. We have seen all these Vivarta theory and Karyakarana Bhaya. So in a way of saying, we say, no? In a way. Arthavada. As Arthavadam you can say that Dvaidam is, the very existence of Dvaidam is in Advaidam. The very existence of the snake is in the rope. That rope, that snake which you saw, not the snakes you see here and all. Don't go and catch it now, saying I got the rope. Not like that. So, at the level of the mind and intellect, there is duality. When the mind stops, what happens? In deep meditation, the mind has stopped and there are no thoughts in the mind. Then what do you have? Advaita Anubhava. Advaita Anubhuti. Aparoksha Anubhuti. In the absence of the mind and intellect, there is Aparoksha Anubhuti. I am Brahman only. When the mind stops, the Advaita Anubhuti, Dvaidam and Advaidam do not belong to the same plane of reality. That is why you cannot compare them. They don't belong to the same plane of reality. Dvaidam is an evolute from the Advaitam. That is what it says. Advaita is the substratum and a Mrisha world, a manifested world is superimposed on Advaitam. Karyam, when they say, we must understand Adhyaropa Apavadam. Apavadam is already done because it is not, Dvaidam is not real. We have already established. Is it not? Illusoriness of the Dvaita Prapancham is established in the Vaidadhya Prakaranam, in the second chapter. So here he says it is not in the same level of reality. And hence the difficulty, the non-dual nature of the Lord must always be remembered when we hear the stories or the sports and the leelas and the glories of the Lord. When you go to hear Bhagavad, for example, what should you know? Remember always? That Paramatma is, Krishna is Paramatma. The one non-dual Brahman. My Krishna, your Shiva. Don't fight like that. That is Dvaidam. I am seeing and when you see the Lord as a Dvaita Kalpana, then that Lord has no reality. After some time, in every story they will say, however much they have worshipped, which is giving you a message of Vedanta, that every time a bhakta prays to the Lord and the Lord comes, appears and disappears. So what does it mean? A coming God will always go. And in Advaita, I am the Lord. Where is going and coming? I am that. Ishvara. There is no coming, no going. Ever reveling in that reality. So I become a great bhakta of that form of the Lord. Only now what remains is you have to extend that form of the Lord to include everything. That is Advaita. How to explain all this to you? You have to arrive at it by yourself, by trial and error. This cannot be taught. It must be arrived at by trial and error method. Then you realize the Lord I worship is not separate from me. And that is the highest realization. And the saints and sages, the bhakti saints and sages attained that stage. And they never say they are Advaitins or that. Everything is Krishnan. Everything is Rama. That the last understanding is what? Wherever I look, I see Rama alone. Tyagaraja says like that. Or wherever I look, I only experience that Sanidhyam of Brahman. Now, as far as I have concerned, from the day one I started studying Vedanta, I had no doubt about the importance of such bhakti and the importance of such knowledge. They are not two different paths. They are the same path, but you are reaching that the goal is always the same. You may reach it by bhakti, you may reach it by jnanam. What bhakti? What is your bhakti? It should be, it should be a great, what can I say, embracing everybody in love. That is that.
But our scriptures say otherwise.
No, they don't.
Through Vishnu appeared, and for Prahlad again some...
Appeared, but they disappeared also. That's what I am saying. An appearing God will disappear. You understand? Whereas, when I have realized my oneness with the Lord, does he disappear? It doesn't disappear. Some of the stories that of Mahatmas in the Bhakti field, you will see, Bhagwan comes, does everything in their house also. That's a different. That is why the Bhakti also should go with different steps to reach that oneness. In this field also, we have to go different steps. Jnana Nishtha is at different levels. But please don't think they are two different things. According to your mental makeup, your emotional makeup, you can become a bhakta, you can become a person, you have taken the path of knowledge. But remember, in both the paths, don't get stagnant in one place. Move to the highest. Then you reach the same point. Margas are different, but the point is one alone. They also arrived that and the Jnani also, and Jnana Marga is more difficult there, so the Bhakti Marga is said. Because in loving the Lord, we feel so fulfilled. Studying these padas, how you can get fulfilled? They are laughing at us. But we don't care. We go, we are true, we are seeking the truth, and hence we don't get bothered what others criticize or walk the path of. Even you are a bhakta, jnana sahita bhakti is always superior. Kulashekara Alvar, he was such a bhakta. He was a bhakta par excellence, a king. And he becomes a bhakta, and when he writes Mukundamala, he is writing from the ultimate level of jnanam. He says, I don't want anything from you, O Lord, but let me not forget you. I don't even want moksha. See? Na baddha, na mumuksha, na muktaha. He says from that highest level, I don't want moksha also. In every bhave, bhavayeyam bhavantam. In every life, let me never forget you. That's what he asks. Very beautiful, that Mukundamala. A Jnani Bhakta's outpourings it is. So all these possibilities are there. So if you cannot give up Dvaita Bhavana, but then slowly bridge that gap between God and you, between the world and you, between Paramatma and you. That is all. Paramatma himself in another form is the Lord of your heart. Paramatma in another form is everybody. Then you become one with the world. And Paramatma himself is the Ishvara. That understanding is the Samanjasa. That is the most appropriate understanding. Okay. Advaidam paramartho hi dvaidam tadbheda uchyade tesham ubhayada dvaidam tenayam navirudyade. So, therefore, the dualists perceive duality everywhere. In the Advaita also they perceive duality. In the Dvaita Prabhanja also so everywhere the drishti is Dvaita drishti. Therefore, the non-dualism is a philosophy that does not conflict with the dualist positions. We don't have anything against them. Let them have. But they are ignorant, that is all. They have not known the truth. Until they arrive at the truth by the worship which is with the heart and soul in you, you will not reach the higher state. Then Bhagavan himself reveals himself to you. I give myself to them. In Narayaniyam, Bhagavan says, all other gods will give you some varam or other, some boon or other. But I give myself to my bhaktas. What a beautiful, what a profound statement it is. In other words, if you know me as the one non-dual Brahman, you become that. You come to me. Bhagavo jnanadabasa pudamadbhava agadaha. So they will come to me. So why don't we use it? It's a powerful tool. Bhakti is a powerful tool. But only thing is use it properly and don't get stagnated in any place. Just move to the highest possible reach of your intellect also. So the heart and the head should go together to that flight into the beyond. It's a flight. Gurudev writes about his own experience of realization, how Tapon Maharaj pushed me into that beyond, he says. Like that. One day, which day we don't know. Well, we'll go now. Continue this in the next class. Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate.